Hey everybody, it's great to be here. The things that are happening in our public schools are not just in Oregon, they're across the country. We started out as an Oregon organization, but who contacted us first? A woman in Iowa. This was 5 years ago. This gal told us a very sad story about her daughter, how her daughter was counseled by the school counselor to change her sex. How did mom find out about that? She was invited into the counselor's office. She was working at the school at the time. She didn't know that her daughter was going to be there. She didn't know that her daughter was going to hand her a 24-page letter and ask her to read it out loud in front of the counselor. This is very common. It's a protocol in coming out as a transgender student in the public school system. What happened as a result of that? Well, mom was beside herself, but within 2 months, her daughter had moved out. Now, she made that announcement on her 18th birthday, January of her senior year. How convenient. Nothing the parents could do. That was the beginning of our journey as an Oregon organization. So I'm glad to finally be invited to Multnomah County. This is the second time I've spoken here in Multnomah County. Very exciting. We need a chapter in Multnomah County. So be thinking about that as I'm giving my presentation. What do these two things represent here? These images, they represent, you would think the one on the left would be sexuality education. No, that's gender identity education, beginning in kindergarten, in Portland Public Schools. That's K through 3, grade 3. On your right is an image of what we believe. This is a Black Lives Matter curriculum. That is representative of critical race theory. And I'll be showing you some of those slides, but these are the two biggest issues: gender identity and anti-American education. That's what I call it because it represents a lot of different curriculums. I'm going to give you a little bit of information about my background because I think it's important to understand who I am and where I started in this fight. Those are different years I'm going to highlight. 1994. Our children were in school then. They were in middle school and high school, actually middle school and grade school, in 1994. And there was this situation, it was about the AIDS curriculum that they wanted to teach in Tiger 12 in schools every single year, K through 12, to help our kindergartners so that they wouldn't get AIDS. Seriously? Washing your hands, you're learning about condoms. So I was fighting that with the moniker of Eagle Forum. In 1998, I decided to go another direction. I have a design degree, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to start my design business. Why? Nobody believed me. Nobody seemed to care. Is anything going to happen? Does anybody care about this? What we're teaching our children? Not really. But in 2004, I got a call from a woman who is now head of Oregon Right to Life, Lois Anderson. She was the political director at that time. And she said, gee, Suzanne, what are you doing now? So I was telling her all about how much fun I'm having with my business, and she said, well, would you ever consider, getting back into politics? And I never really thought I was in politics before. Isn't that kind of how some of you feel? I'm not really in politics. Yes, you are. That's a good thing. And I laughed hilariously. No way! My husband would kill me. Well, he hasn't killed me yet. He's probably felt like it at times, but he hasn't killed me yet. So I ran for public office in 2004, and I lost by 400 votes, House race, most highly contentious race in the state that year. Very disappointing. Very disappointing. My church wouldn't even announce that I was a candidate until the Sunday before the Tuesday of Election Day. Imagine, ballots had been out for 2 weeks. So I lost, and I thought, okay, that's it. I've given it enough, tried so hard. I bet you can relate to that. We keep trying. We can't give up. We can't quit. So then in 2006, what did I do? I published a book. I went back to my wall design business, custom framing. I met Greg Tenney along the way, and I said, oh my gosh, you're in art and custom framing too. 2012, got pulled back into this arena again. Got a call. Suzanne, would you just put your name on the ballot? We need somebody to fill that slot. When they ask you that, don't just put your name on the ballot. You gotta run. There's value in that. Run. People need us out there knocking on their doors and talking about the issues. We give them hope. So did I win? No, I knew I wasn't going to, but I had an army of volunteers, unbelievable. Every weekend we were out there knocking on doors. I ran against Ginny Burdick. She put up about one sign. I mean, it was crazy. But what we discovered, we had signs everywhere. The people in my district, in my Senate district, needed me. They needed hope, that somebody cared. I raised about over $30,000. I had a really good system. I'd be happy to share it with you. But didn't have a lot of big lobbyists, contributing. That was about 1/10 of what I raised, back in 2004. But it was a great experience. People need us. We need to talk about the issues. A lot of people don't really have a clue what's going on. Okay, so it's a marketing effort. So then in 2013, right after my race in 2012, I was contacted and asked to run for chairman of the Republican Party, which I did, and that was another interesting experience. I learned a lot, and as a result, I'm pretty tough these days. Okay, so that was in 2013, and in 2018, I was asked to step in and take the reins of Parents' Rights in Education. Now, this is an organization that I helped start back in 2010, and it was so weird, you guys, because I made the suggestion that you should call it Parents' Rights in Education. Don't use the word Oregon. Don't talk about, women or men or whatever. Make that the issue. The name should be the issue. And that is the issue. It's not just in education. Parents are losing their rights to determine the medical future of their children as well. And kids are being taken away, and I'll get into that in a minute. Just going to remind you of some of the events. So 2 years after I took over this role in 2020, it wasn't that long ago, but that was the year of the riots. That was George Floyd. This is Tigard, Oregon in 2020. Equal outcomes for all, marching in the streets. And of course, we had a lot of activity in Portland then too, didn't we? Okay, here we are in 2021. Well, actually, in 2020 was when there were a lot of riots and kids were involved, but in 2021, Christopher Rufo wrote an unbelievable article. And who was the subject of his article? Portland. Child soldiers of Portland, because they were recruiting students from the high schools to go to downtown Portland and riot. Kick some people in the head, lying on the street and things like that. I mean, it was hand to hand at times. So they were saying, get cops out of schools and crazy things. Just some more images reflecting, what was going on. These are some of this is online education. There's an image of it looks like a little caricature that was used by a teacher giving online instruction. Moms United for Black Lives Matter, etc. Okay, here we go. Anybody seen this activity book? Black Lives Matter? Yes, it was used by Beaverton early on, one of the first schools to show it to kids. Okay, this is what they say. Black Lives Matter at School is a national coalition of educators organizing for racial justice. Interesting. This is an organization for educators. They're in the schools. These are activist educators, guys. We encourage all educators, students, parents, unions, and community organizations to join our annual week of action during the first week of February every year. I don't know if they're still doing that in the schools. It's different all over the country, but believe me, they're in the schools. So these are just some images from Black Lives Matter. This book is so telling because it's directed to young people. It looks like a coloring book, and it really reveals their goal. It reveals who they really are. The best representation of any of these activities by the left is literature that they produce on their own. So here we are, empathy, diversity, queer affirming, transgender affirming. What does that have to do with Black Lives Matter? And restorative justice, huge problem. Huge problem. Restorative justice is the methodology that is used in many schools today. I know it is in Tigard Tualatin. I know it is in Westland Wilsonville because I have reports of it where kids are coming to school, they're stoned on some drug, come into class, the teachers can't do anything about it. Teachers are walking out, they're angry that they're not supported. Just, a week and a half ago, I got a call from a dad in West Lynn High School. His son goes to West Lynn, sitting in a situation just like we are tonight, cafeteria, lunchtime. In walked a 6-foot person dressed in black fishnet stockings, bike shorts, and a tank top. A male. So this kid's sitting there and eating his lunch, and he looked up, because this guy's really tall. He looked up and he just said, "Queer. Isn't that what they want to be called?" They talk about it every day in school. LGBTQ, use it in all of their literature. They're proud, right? They're proud. So what was wrong? What he said? Well, that 6-foot-tall male in fishnet stockings turned on this student and beat him up, beat him to a pulp, gave him a concussion. He was seen by 2 doctors who confirmed that. The student stood around and video recorded the event. They laughed. They laughed. And no staff person came to that kid's rescue. So, what happened? Well, who do you think was suspended? Straight kid. Let's see. He was considered to have offended the other student with harassment, and that the 6-foot-tall fishnet guy, that he was a protected class, quote, quote. Okay, so that was a class 2 misdemeanor, according to the police. We reported it to the police, of course. The other student was guilty, but not charged, of class 4 assault, I guess. Not suspended. Didn't have to go to indoctrination classes on Monday. So this is still up in the air. We're not done with this case, but that was in Westland. That was in Wilsonville at Westland High School just recently. That's called restorative justice. And this is part of critical race theory, part of DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion policies. Okay, globalism. In case you didn't know about, Black Lives Matter being Marxist, well, globalism is part of that. And collective value. So we're all equal outcomes. I thought this picture was really fascinating because it was featured in a Breitbart publication. And it states the Zinn Education Project urges teachers to defy laws banning critical race theory concepts. In other words, if your school won't allow you to teach it, you just teach it anyway. So they're calling upon all teachers to pledge to instruct students in the concepts associated with critical race theory. That picture was taken in Portland. And here we have the goings-on in Newburgh, so both urban and rural areas. Here's one of those activist teachers. Any of you seen her picture since then? It's all the time. She is the icon of an activist teacher. And she's born and bred in Oregon. Yeah. She said this, well, I took the American flag down in my classroom because it was the most political symbol there is. When I see Trevor DeHart, who's the board vice chair, sitting there at those board meetings with that giant American flag behind him, it's terrifying. That symbol doesn't stand for freedom or justice or equality anymore. Now, she used the word equality. That was kind of a slip of the tongue for her, wasn't it? She doesn't believe in equality. She believes in equity. She said it stands for violence and menace and intolerance, and I will not fly that flag in my room. There's more to that story, but I don't have time to cover that tonight. Okay, we're going to switch gears here a little bit. I talked to all kinds of people who care about this issue, and they're not all parents. Some of them have nieces and nephews. Some of them are parents. Many of them are grandparents. And they understand that this isn't just about somebody else's child. This is about the future of our country. It's huge, you guys. It's huge. It is 10 miles deep and trillions of miles wide. It's not only the United States of America. We have an affiliate organization in Australia. Everybody should be concerned about this because students are being indoctrinated. Now, 5 years ago, I was counseled by a professional consultant. Oh, you shouldn't use the word indoctrinate. You shouldn't use that word. It's a trigger word. I don't care. We're using it. Okay, what does a 5-year-old look like? What does a 5-year-old do? If you don't have grandchildren or don't maybe remember exactly, that's the age of a kindergartner. That's age 5. They learn how to ride a bike. See that bike right there? That's especially for 5-year-olds. Oh, they wear fun T-shirts like that. Well, that sweatshirt, birthday boy, it has a dinosaur on the front. That's what they're thinking about, riding their bikes. Okay? And there they are, sucking on a popsicle. Gosh, it'd be fun to be 5 again, wouldn't it? Innocent, precious. This is what they're showing 5-year-old kids in kindergarten in Portland, Oregon. Understanding our bodies. I have the entire curriculum. Anybody wants to see it, I'll be happy to send you a link to it. Some bodies have these middle parts. Over there on the left, that is a male body that is shown to a 5-year-old image. And it shows one that's circumcised and one that is not. Isn't that great? We need to make sure they see that. Some bodies have these middle parts. They're called middle parts. See, we used to call them private parts. Now we're just going by the location. It's in the middle. This one on the right is, the female. We have 5 descriptors, words, with arrows pointing to those parts for a 5-year-old. Okay, these are the notes to the teachers. And make sure to use the wording written on the slides. It was very intentional and is gender inclusive for all identities. This lesson was written by trans people. They admit it. And it was designed for kindergarten through third grade classes and is developmentally appropriate. We have people in our school system who are saying this is developmentally appropriate. Okay, you can barely read those words, but it says person with a penis. We don't call them boys. No, that would be discriminatory. And then a person with a vulva. Isn't that lovely? Okay, there's just a little bit more. I want to get you mad. I don't want you to forget these images. I could have just talked about this. No one can describe what you're seeing on this screen. Gender. Any gender can look or act any way they want. Jacob's new dress. I can do whatever I want. I'm 5. Some people are boys. Some people are girls. Some people are still figuring out their gender. Gender is like outer space because there are as many ways to be different genders as there are stars in the sky. Really? Gosh, that's freeing, isn't it? And then, of course, we go into the pronouns, she, her, he, him, they, them, z, zir. What are z? Or make up your own. We have to stop this. It's got to go. In fact, I would say all of comprehensive sexuality instruction has got to go now. Because it's all been infected by the people who have written this kind of curriculum. We can't trust them now, can we? Would you trust your child with anybody who is a proponent of this? No. That's the toxic environment that is making it impossible for people to put their kids in school. Okay, so what is our playbook? Well, we've tried going to school board meetings. We still encourage you to go to a meeting. Be sure you get a video, etc. And we have training now on our website that shows you exactly how to do that. All kinds of tips about making presentations. It's good for really anything, anytime you testify, anytime you speak publicly. But we are helping, we have set up programs to help parents more specifically. But anybody can go to our trainings and watch them on your own time, on demand. We have to gain a majority on every school board. That may mean 2 election cycles. I pity the people who get elected the first go-around because they have to tough it out, but they can learn a lot about what's going on in their school district and start planning for the next election cycle. This is a long game. The other side knew that when they took over. A lot of school board members have been on boards for 8 to 20 or more years, and they're not really ready to give up their seats, but we got to help them because they're not standing up for our kids. We endorse candidates. All of these icons behind me are candidate endorsements. One is in Canby. These are just some examples that we're already getting requests for endorsements. People want our endorsement. Texas, Kerrville, Texas, Hudson School Board in Wisconsin, and let's see, another school board in Illinois. Those are just a few of the examples. And that's for social media. Those are all social media icons, but they use them everywhere. They can put them in an advertisement in the newspaper, anywhere. Now, these are some suggestions that we have for school board policy recommendations. We have, those are the top, well, we can't quite see the top, I think those are the top 14 suggestions. We'll outline them all for people to consider when they get on a school board. These policies already exist in law. If you go online to the Secretary of State and also just, dial in education statutes for the state of Oregon, you're going to find a lot of laws that support what we prefer. They're in law already, but our school boards and our state leaders are not adhering to those laws. We need to tell our school boards, you're breaking the law here. If you're not teaching the Constitution and U.S. history every single year, beginning in the 8th grade, through grade 12, every year, you're breaking the law. Right there you'll see in red, free membership. The answer is you. Train, speak, and change. We need to keep it simple, folks. We don't need to know everything, okay? But we need to speak up. Parents and allies are standing together. Millions of voices all across the country are speaking as one. What's the message? Stop messing with our kids. It ends here. So click on free membership. The answer is you. Train, speak, change. We have a parent center. See that blue section on the upper left? You'll see that when you click on that page, you'll see parent center, free training, free membership. And down below is another section for leadership. If you take a leadership position, there's a whole nother set of benefits, PDFs, access to branding, all kinds of things for people who want to be in leadership. It's all free. Here's the Parent Activist Training Center login page. It's that button in the center. Scroll down there, it says Training Center. That will take you to this page. We have 2 tracks of training. The first one on the left is how to effectively testify to your school board. The second one is how to win your school board election. So we're going to click on that one because we're talking about elections. Okay, so this is the page. You notice that that's a video. We have video introductions, and then we go through step by step what you need to do. Okay, here. This is just in this one training program for how to run. The first question: should I run for office? Your campaign plan. What's your message? Your campaign team. This was written by an individual who works for us, who has been involved in politics and running campaigns for 30 years. He's a professional. Managing your time, taking care of your team, campaigning on the cheap. I bet everybody's going to click on that. Now, when you click on it, you'll go through a training course, and you'll have a quiz, so you're going to know, this. What you need to remember. And then on the other side, building your speaking skills, debating effectively, fundraising basics, how to talk with the press. That's really important. Door-to-door canvassing, campaigning with your phone. Campaigning with your phone, important. And getting people to vote. Now, you guys are involved with party politics. You probably all, how many of you in this room have knocked on doors, been involved in a campaign? Yeah. So I really like to have your feedback. Go through this and let me know if you learned anything new. Or tell us what we're missing. People all across the country are going to be accessing this. It's free. And you can do it on your own time. Most parents, most people are not available during the day or in the evening. They have to access it. So you can start one class and just finish one a night, do a couple a night, and get through it in a week. And then at the end, we have a final quiz running for the school board, and you get a certificate. Anyway, we want it to be easy, we want it to be simple and straightforward. Sign up today. Go to our website, you've got the QR code, and just sign up. That will sign you up for our newsletters, and it also will give you an entree to the trainings and other things that we have. Like we have a tip line, just a number of amazing things on our website. Remember these cute 5-year-olds? We're asking parents to engage in their local school districts, of course. But no, there are many more folks who care about these issues. Often people will say, gosh, I am just one person, and my children are grown. Or, oh, I'm just so busy, I'm too busy to participate.
This mission is possible. Parents' Rights in Education is reaching parents everywhere. Don't sit this one out. Our 12 by 12 Club is perfect. We have created a giving program for anyone interested in helping parents' rights in education. Only $12 for 12 months. Thanks for watching. These precious children need our help. Please support our cause and contribute today.